Welcome back to Everyway Woman. Our next guest, Jen Jones-Donatelli, wants everyone to find their creative groove. Thanks for being here, Jen.
You are so welcome.
Well, so tell us, you have this company called Creative Groove. Tell us what it's all about.
So it's basically an online education hub where we offer classes in an array of creative topics, from mom blogging to social media to freelance writing to photography. And the idea is that the classes are taught by working professionals in the field. So you're getting the juiciest information out there for the field that you're hoping to go into. And they're also designed to be very affordable and interactive. So we have video, live chat, PowerPoint, screen sharing, pretty much everything you could want, or at least that's the goal anyway.
How did you come up with this idea?
Well, it was kind of a long journey, but I worked in film and television for about 7 years. And my degree was actually in magazine journalism. So when the last show I was working on got canceled, I happened to have some side writing work going on. And
what were you writing?
I was writing for an array of magazines.
What do you mean an array?
Jane of all trades, I tell you.
You know, I'll tell you, I was a cheerleader all growing up.
Okay.
And while I was working in film and television, I got approached by this cheerleading magazine to start writing for them. And it happened to be a publishing house that owned about 10 other magazines. So as time went on, I started writing for all their other magazines, and suddenly I had this kind of thriving freelance writing business going on the side of what I was doing in TV. So anyway, once that show got canceled, I kind of just became a full-time freelance writer, and 7 years later, I'm still doing that full-time. So I started teaching freelance writing as a result of that. And I just got this idea that there's probably a lot of people who might like to leave their full-time job and pursue their creative area of interest. So Creative Groove is basically designed to help people tap into those creative interests and see if it might be a plausible career path for them.
How does it do that?
Well, we
Get
have
them to tap in.
Well, for instance, we have a class on wedding photography, and we get a lot of people who maybe went to a wedding as a favor to a friend, and took pictures and realized that they really have a knack for it.
So kind of making a career out of a hobby,
exactly,
or a passion.
Exactly, or like maybe your Etsy shop. Maybe you want to do more with that. Or, for instance, I get a lot of people who are doing a little bit of freelance writing, and they want to know if they can jump in and do it full time. So it's basically their way of just building their knowledge set and becoming more qualified to make a career out of it.
Now, with these classes, are some of the classes online? Are they at a brick and mortar shop? How are the classes?
So how are they interactive as far as the person talks, and then do you like send them messages, or is it through Skype, or how does it work?
Well, every single class is online.
Okay.
And the way that they're interactive is you basically enter this virtual classroom, and there's a live session. And you see the teacher talking in the corner, and you have the opportunity to do live chat. So if you have a question, you can jump in there, and the teacher will answer it in real time. And then the teacher's kind of walking you through this PowerPoint presentation. So they're showing you visuals that go with whatever it is that they happen to be talking about. And then we also have the capability to do screen sharing. So say we're doing a Photoshop demonstration, the teacher can share their screen, walk you right through how to airbrush yourself to be 10 pounds thinner.
Wow,
and,
we should all take that class, ladies.
And then we also record the classes, so if you can't make it at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday, you can watch it anytime.
And that's been the great thing for me as a mom, because I've taken one of Jen's classes. I took a photography class. It was more as a hobby, but it was so interactive. It kept me engaged. There's homework afterwards, and you share with the teacher. And she was also on Facebook, grading the pictures. But the class was the class was during when I usually feed my son, and so I would be watching it, but I couldn't always be fully engaged, but I could go back and then look at the recording.
How long are the sessions?
Yeah, how long?
They're about an hour.
So once a week?
But you just do one, or is it like a 6-week course, or how does that work?
Everyone is different. Most of our classes are between 4 and 6 weeks. For instance, I teach a freelance writing class that's 6 weeks, but we do have one-off seminars, and those are usually 3 hours. So for that, it's more beneficial usually to watch the recording, because not everyone has 3-hour chunks.
And that's something, too, a person can add to their resume, because
Exactly.
it's a training course,
That's true.
and you can write it off on your taxes,
Exactly.
too.
And at some point, I'd like to have a certificate program, that could give people more for their investment and also for their resume.
Well, speaking of taxes and the business end of it, how scary was it for you to go from freelancing and having someone else send you the checks to starting up your own business?
Well, I feel like I was kind of in the position that a lot of people are today, because I was almost thrust into it. The show I was working on was canceled, and for me, I thought it would be more of a bridge type of thing, like, oh, I'll do this until the next thing, and then it turned into a career.
It's the next thing.
Yeah. Surprise!
But it is very challenging. It's a 24/7 endeavor. You know, if you're not working, you're networking. So if you're someone that likes to leave your work at the office at 5 o'clock and forget about it, you know, being a solopreneur is not really for you. And also, it's very unpredictable. You know, you have no set income. You have to find your own benefits. So,
But what's good about it? What are the pros?
well, you can make your own schedule, and I like to say you're the master of your own destiny. You know, so I like to call it unlimited income potential. So
That's beautiful.
you do take a pay cut normally when you start your own business. The sky is the limit, basically. You don't have that set parameter of what you're going to make. So, and I personally enjoy the freedom of it. Getting
And
to
you're
make
really
my own
helping
schedule.
people. I mean, a lot of
Absolutely.
people,
Helping
you're
people,
changing their
yes.
lives.
Like,
Because
guys, you
it's so
seem
good,
happy.
'cause that's the problem with a lot of solopreneurs is you don't know where to turn. And now you have a way for them to find out
Do you have
all
a-
the information.
Do you have a
they
class
need.
on how to be a solopreneur?
Well, you know, I was sitting here preparing for this segment, and I realized that would really be a great
yeah,
class. So I've been
definitely.
inspired.
Stay
Well,
tuned
tell
for
us
that.
about, you know, we've put out the word solopreneur, and people are like, well, what is that? What's
Right.
she talking about? Tell us about being a solopreneur. What is that?
Right. It's a little bit of a buzzword, but it's basically just a self-contained business owned and operated by you, yourself, and you. So you're basically the sole employee, and you see it a lot in creative fields. Like I said before, people with their Etsy shop or who run their own photography business, maybe a copywriter who works with different corporate clients. So yeah, that's what a
What
solopreneur
mistake
is.
do you think most solopreneurs make so that they're not successful?
Well, you know, and not to plug Creative Group, but I feel like some people might jump in too quickly without really preparing themselves and determining whether this is feasible for them. So the idea of taking a class in your area of interest from a working professional, you can kind of see how they did it, get their tips, and see if it might be for you. So diving in too quickly might be one mistake. The other is just, I guess, just not preparing as well as you could, because like I said, it is a big shift, and you have to know the challenges and rewards of it. So I would recommend talking to people who do it, finding out if it's for you, and maybe taking a class with us.
All right, well,
I'm
check it
gonna
out
check it
at
out.
Creative
Yeah.
Groove. Is it creativegroove.com?
Creativegroove.com.
Okay, well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming on and telling us all about this,
Thank
Jen.
you very much.
All right, well, we'll be right back with Every Way Woman. Thanks for joining us.